As you guys can tell, I'm not in my regular room, and that's due to the fact that we're moving. In the next 90 days, a lot of my life is changing, and it's changing quite rapidly. But I'm excited for it, and I wanted to make this video because I feel like in these past couple years, I've gone through many changes in my life, and not to say that I've come up with the master plan on how to get over change and really just embrace it, but more so just how change is a good thing. It's never really a bad thing. No matter what the circumstances, you're going to realize that these changes that you go through in your life are actually changes that needed to happen in order for you to grow into the person that you're becoming. I've always been someone that was really scared of change. So much so that it took my manager at one of the restaurants that I used to work at to stop and look at me and see how I was just throwing my life away, constantly complaining, constantly being stuck in this what if mode, that he stopped me one day and he's just like, the reason why you're not growing is because you're afraid of change. Now back then I was only like 16 years old, and I didn't think anything of it till I started to see it more and more in my life. I started to realize that instead of embracing change, instead of letting myself go into new environments, I was continuously putting myself in an environment where I felt like I just didn't belong. I guess this is kind of a little bit off topic when it comes to change, but this was a moment in my life where things started to really shift, because I realized that in order for me to become this entrepreneur that I've always wanted to become this great leader that I've always wanted to become, I needed to make a change. And if someone was telling me that I was afraid to change, well, then there was an issue, right? And this was something that really woke me up in my life and made me realize that I needed to start acting on the things that I wanted in my life. I needed to start approaching life with a whole new perspective, with the perspective that I now follow every single day. And that's that everything in life happens for a reason. It sounds very cliche, but it is so true. I can't tell you how many things in my life have happened, whether they're good or bad, but they've happened in my life because they needed to happen in order for me to then go into this next chapter or into this next experience. But another way that you can also change your perspective on how change is perceived in your life is realizing that things in life happen for you, not to you. Essentially what you're doing is you're understanding that whatever's happening in your life is happening for your own gain rather than against you. Now, as you guys may or may not know, I've been someone that went completely self-employed about 5 months ago. So to give you guys a quick backstory, I went to college for entrepreneurship and small business management, and my goal has always been to be an entrepreneur. During that time, I had a couple jobs, and I started to get comfortable with a good paying job that was, just a job. I was able to actually work with individuals that had big dreams, had big goals, and to see them settle for something less than that kind of made me realize that I wanted to pursue my own goals and my own dreams without really caring what anyone thought. And that's why I decided to go fully self-employed. I quit my last full-time job, and that was a bit of a surprise to my family, and I guess it's just kind of something that you slowly start to adapt to. And that's kind of where change comes into place. You see, when I started to realize that things happen for you instead of to you, and I made this big change in my life, I started to look for ways that I could find advantages to this change. I was able to find YouTube. I was able to find a group of entrepreneurs that were like-minded, and from there I've just been able to grow my network in the most positive way possible. But again, this is an example of how you can change your perspective on the changes that you're going through in your life. Yes, some things may seem really difficult and really risky at the time, but be willing to make that change. I promise you it's going to work out in your favor as long as you believe in it and you stay consistent to where you're trying to go. And right now, if you're really in the dumps and you're trying to find a way back to your creative form or just overall being back to your own self, understand that what you're going through right now is temporary. It might seem cliche to say, it might seem kind of like, might not really affect you, but I promise you that there's going to be a day that you're going to wake up one day and realize, wow, that's why I needed to go through this. And I've had those moments many times in my life, but just understand that during this process, the more that you can focus on this happening for you rather than to you, the more you're going to be able to acknowledge the positives of what's going on in your life. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to give it a like. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.